All right, here we are. All right, hello everyone. I'm still just trying to figure out really how this G Plus works, the Google Hangout system works. And one nice thing about it is that I can do longer videos, so that I've got 8 hours time restraint rather than 10 minutes. So that's kind of nice. I feel like I can relax a bit, you know, and just not rush things, which is just a different thing for me. Okay. I'm not really expecting anyone to turn up because it was short notice, and it's not like I wanted anyone to turn up anyway. I haven't been making videos for a long time. Simon went on about Google Hangouts, and we got crossed wires. I didn't know what he was talking about, but apparently what he meant was that I could use it to make videos, rather than what I thought he meant was I could do a hangout and find out why from other people why my video equipment ain't working properly. Didn't really understand it anyway, but seem to have got the idea now that I can actually make videos on Google Hangouts. Okay. Right, so I was going to talk about supplements a bit, and going to talk about my course. I'll just quickly talk about my course, I think, first. So we're going in, the sun's just got into Libra. So this is going to represent the last phase of the course, the Severity Pillar. So it's starting in the sphere of understanding, Saturn sphere, for the month of Libra, then going down into the Sun sphere, is it? Yeah, for the month of Scorpio, then the Victory sphere, Venus sphere, for the month of Sagittarius, and then the Earth sphere for Capricorn. Right, and this is, as I say, it's the last phase of the course. I did say it was going to be 80 days or 120 days, and it's turned into like a year, a bit over a year. Okay, which I wasn't really expecting, but it just seemed to be how the whole thing evolved. The interesting thing about, well, what's been going on the last 4 months is it's been a lot more relaxing. I haven't been making videos really very much. It's been absorbing stuff that we've done at the beginning of the course and just letting it all sort of play out, sort of noticing the change in my consciousness as I've been getting on with my life, and how I've been looking at things differently in terms of energy, and you know, just how I view reality in that. I've been working on getting my stock of herbs and supplements up to scratch. I'm going to talk about that later, and that's been good. So looking ahead now, right, so we've just finished the Mercy Pillar, and it's been relaxing, it's been chilled out, as the name suggests. So we're going into the Severity Pillar. Now it's obviously going to be more more going on in terms of actual work and manifesting results. So that's what the next 4 months are going to be about in terms of the Severity Pillar. It's now, it should be that all the stuff that you've been learning, that I've been learning over the last year, it's now going to start to crystallize into something tangible. Now, in terms of becoming a living God, has it been successful? Well, to answer that, I'm feeling as though I'm pretty much in a situation now where I'm where I want to be. I can't really imagine being somewhere better, where I'd rather be than where I am. So in that sense, it's been a success. But I could just be kidding myself. I'm not, you know, blind to the obvious fact that I could just be thinking that. This one of the things about the work is I've tried to do is create a certain amount of redundancy in the work. So in kind of whatever happens, I can see it as a success. And I was pretty much aware that I'm doing that anyway throughout the course to an extent, and so bearing that in mind, I'm only getting out of it what I put in it. You know, I'm only getting out what I put in. So what I'm thinking of doing over the next 4 months, as far as the course is concerned, is to hopefully do a couple of hangouts a week, probably one on Wednesday and one on Sunday, maybe at different times. So people in different time zones have got the chance to like join if they want, and then review. I'll make my the videos of the course, the first 4 months of the course, public again as I go through these next 4 months, and review them. It won't be starting until the beginning, until October, so we've got another like week before I start doing this. Yeah, so I'll just be watching the videos. Most of them are only like 5 or 6 minutes long. There's like a few each day, so I'll be watching them for an hour or so and just reviewing them and commentating on how things have progressed over the year and where I am now in relation to where I was and where I was hoping to be, what I was expecting to happen, and where I actually am. So it will just sort of like try and because I was fumbling around in the dark with this course a lot of the time. I was making it up as I was going along, and but with some patterns in mind, you know, having an idea of what I was doing. But and time was a factor. One of the things that I've enjoyed doing with this is that time is a factor in it. This isn't just something that you can, you know, watch a video and study and then you suddenly like learn how to be a living God. There is a time factor involved, and okay, right. So for me, one of the things is I'm I'm doing this severe pillar. Part of, and that's one facet of that will be me doing this work, like doing a couple of hangouts a week and reviewing the course, like as it was last year, and looking at it again and commentating on it. That will be one aspect of me, my severe pillar. But the essence of the severe pillar is that it's the last part of the course. So it's not something that I'm really going to be. I'll be trying to make public in terms of everything I'm going to be doing in term for the severe pillar. But I'll just be trying to give you an outline at the same time as while I'm doing this like re-evaluation, looking back at how the course started. I don't know if that's very clear, but to me, what it is that is an aspect of my the end part of my course. It's kind of like tying up. It's finishing off the course but it's also I'm going over the beginning of the course. So in a sense, it's like it's the serpent eating its tail. It's the closing of the circle. And what this has turned into, which I wasn't really thinking it was or was expecting it to, but which I'm glad it has, is this. Now it's turning into like this spiral, you know, of going round the year. So as you go, as the sun goes through the zodiac, I've become much more acutely aware of what's happening. So like today, as the sun's gone into Libra, I think it's gone in there today. I noticed this new change in energy, which has been building up. This kind of, it makes me think of uh, those hovercrafts in the Matrix films, you know, with that electrical static energy. You know, they're like electromagnetic static sort of energy that they've got. You can feel this electrical charged energy coming now. The relaxation of the mercy pillars is over now, and we're going into this severe pillar, and there's all this sort of energy, it's sort of electrical, static charged, and so there's going to be a certain amount of work. Also, I'm expecting the work that we've done, or those first 4 months, which I've got those 4 series of videos for, they will also relate to how this severe pillar is going to turn out, how it's going to work out. Because in a lot of ways, I'm still in, you know, in the dark about it. I'm just playing it by ear. But I've got an idea. I've got an intuitive idea of how things are going to work out, and we should be able to see from over the course of the next 4 months how it all works together. It all fits together, and it should become more clear. Hopefully. Okay. All right. Yes, as we've gone around the course, things are going to become more personalised as you go through the course. When you get to the severity pillar, it should be very much about your own life, you know, and how, you know. So there's not. It's about your own rituals. You are going to be like the magus of your life. So you make, you know, you've got to choose your what magical weapons you're going to use, um, what rituals, what goals, you know, and this should all be, you know, being combined into like a kind of yoga of your whole life, and it should all connect with all the different aspects of your life. This is the ideal, anyway. uh, and for my own part, it's all looking good. You know, I'm not going to like gush too much about it, you know, and talk about it too much. But I want to get on to talking about the herbs and supplements a bit more. But you know, over the course of the next few months, I hope to talk about that more, and it will become clear. You know, the course has been working; it's done what it's supposed to do. Yeah, it's still been hard work. You know, it's not like it hasn't been hard work. It's been hard work, and I feel like it's been worthwhile. And yeah, I'll hope to demonstrate that. Yeah. One of the things I talked about when we started the course was like this Saturn sphere, because this is quite relevant now for as we're going into Libra. Uh, we are in the Saturn sphere in terms of the severity pillar. We're starting in the Saturn sphere, so this Saturn sphere is relevant. One of the things about the lessons of Saturn is that you create these little improvements in your life. And this is what I've found with the herbs and supplements. I've been experimenting for like nearly 2 years now. Well, 20 months, let's say. We're getting quite a lot of different supplements and herbs and that, and trying them out. And a lot of them, you notice a benefit almost immediately, you know. And also, I found with a lot of them that benefit wears off after a while. You know, the initial benefit tends to sort of peter out, so that you're not experiencing that same boost that you was getting. Because if your body's like depleted of a certain vitamin or mineral, then you know, you feel the benefit when you get that vitamin or mineral in you. But you don't keep feeling the benefit if you keep taking the vitamin, because you don't need it anymore. You know, the next day or a few days of taking it, your body's got everything it needs. You don't need it. But then there are other vitamins and minerals that you still need. Okay, so I'm going to talk about all these supplements a bit. So as I say, I've been it's been about 20 months. I mean, I've been taking various supplements for a long time, on and off, you know, but just not huge amounts, and not like religiously, or, you know, I've just been experimenting with them, and I feel like I've got some benefit. Certain things I found quite useful, like niacin. I've just got some niacin actually. Right, some of the things I want to talk about. The industry, the supplement industry, they do mess around with stuff, you know. I started taking niacin a few years ago, and I found it really useful. And you get this sort of, when you first take it, you get this skin flush, where it's if your skin almost feels like you've been out in the sun too long and it's burning, and it often can go very well red if you're white skinned. You notice it go very red, like you feel it all tingling. Your skin's all tingling. But then you get energy from it as well. It does something. All that tingling, because you haven't got enough niacin. Your body's like craving for it. So I had some of that yesterday, I think, and I went really red like a beetroot. That was fun. Okay. Yeah. So they've started putting out niacinamide. I forgot the name of that. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. But there's different forms of vitamin B3. There's niacinamide and there's niacin, and your body can't change the one into the other, but they are both different forms of niacin or vitamin B3, but they do different things in your body. And so, but what's happened is that they've I'm not 100% sure. It might be that niacin turns into niacinamide, but it can't turn back into niacin. But niacin is needed in its form as niacin to do certain jobs in your body. So you need niacin and you need niacinamide, ideally. So you want both forms. And that's the same with a lot of vitamins. A lot of vitamins have got more than one form, and a lot of people don't realise that. And that's one of the things I've been finding out about. And so often when you buy a B complex, because for various reasons, or a multivitamin, you know, a mineral stuff or something, and you think you're getting your B vitamins, a lot of the time you're not getting them in the sort of the proper form, or the ideal form that your body wants. So a lot of these multivitamins and B complexes nowadays, they've got nicotinamide instead of niacin, so you don't get that flush, and it does something to the fat in your body, and it gives you extra energy. I think it's quite important. So anyway, I really noticed that. I got some of that yesterday. So I found it's probably the best thing to do with B vitamins is to get the individual B vitamins rather than get a. I couldn't even find a really good multivitamin or B vitamin. I've been looking for ages. I still can't find one because usually they'll have the vitamin B12 will be cyanocobalamin instead of methylcobalamin. You want the methylcobalamin. You can find one with methylcobalamin, but then it hasn't got niacin. It's got niacinamide instead. So you're best off just getting the actual B vitamins singularly in the best type of formula, ideally in a powder form, so that you couldn't, there's nothing in it. You want the pure form. You can make up your own B complex. So you're going to get much better results than like that. I mean, I took some B vitamins yesterday, and it was like, I just felt really a lot better. Just a lot more energy, a lot more grounded. Whereas I've taken like these B complex and multivitamins, and you can hardly notice anything. There's not anything, you don't really notice it. It's hardly, what's the point? Whereas if you get you source good quality vitamins, you take the right amounts of just a handful, like 4 B vitamins. I took vitamin B1, sulbutamine. That's one of the most absorbable forms of B1. Then niacin, B3. Pyridoxine HCl, that's a form of B6. And methylcobalamin, which is the B12, the absorbable form of B12. With those 4, and a couple of other things, similar amino acids and that. Yeah, you get a real good. You've had some vitamins. You can feel it. You've got a lot more energy. It makes a lot of difference. So okay. So as I've been getting into these supplements, one of the things I found out is that I'm still building up my profile of supplements. There's still quite a lot of stuff, or if not a lot. I mean, I might have most of what I want in about a week. And then there'll just be some other things. I mean, it's going really well because as quickly as I can buy them, because I can't afford to buy all the ones. I mean, if I had the money spare, I would have already bought the ones I want at the moment. But it's going at a good rate because really you've got to take your time with getting to know these herbs. This is what I'm finding out. So because one of the things I found, like you put these adaptogenic herbs together. Like I've been using a lot of different adaptogens and various different types of herbs that you can get online now, really quite cheap. That's the other thing. I've been getting more. I've been finding better places to get herbs from, and getting them cheaper. And so I can afford to get a lot more. But the reason I'm doing this is like I've noticed that like, for example, the Chinese and mainly Indian herbal traditions, herbal medicine traditions, they use combinations of herbs, very often about 9, between 9 and 18 herbs, and they've got these formulas of putting special certain herbs together for certain reasons. Now, I'm starting to understand why this is necessary, and also, well, one of the reasons it's necessary is because a lot of these herbs, they don't provide the same benefits. After you've used them for a couple of weeks, they sort of like their good effects wear off, and if you keep taking them, it's like they I don't know. I've got a feeling that some of them are actually, they can do you. They reverse the good that they've done if you just keep taking them. It's always recommended, even things like ginseng. You know, after if you've done 6 weeks or 8 weeks of ginseng, you should probably have a couple of weeks off. I'm not sure if that's really necessary, but I would do that. I generally always do that with herbs. Don't just keep taking them all the time. You know, the benefits wear off. And the other thing is, there's all sorts of reasons to use herbs. So, for example, there's going to be herbs that are going to warm you up and give you more energy for in the cold months in the winter. So there are certain herbs that people use very commonly in winter months to help with the cold weather. Yeah, right. So there's ways of using herbs. Now, I suspect a lot of people who don't know about herbs that much, and I was the same. What you're looking for is you would like, you know, if possible, you would like some sort of like little formula of herbs that you can use, and it will like do such a good job that you can just keep using those things, and you haven't got to worry about it. You can just use your magic bullet herbal combination, and that will sort you out. And you know, I mean, there probably are some things similar to that you can use. You can come up with formulas like that. That will help, you know. But what I like to do, what I think is more valuable, and what works for me, is to find out about the herbs and make your own stacks up with these things. Make your own formulas up on a regular basis as an evolving thing, as part of your diet. Like, so I'm using vitamins and minerals, but I'm also using herbs. So, and I basically keep them more or less separate. So when I'm using the herbs, I generally just use herbs. Sometimes I use a few amino acids. I mean, if some of the herbs I'm using have got a lot of caffeine in, which I will. I mean, sometimes one of the things I like to do is, I've got like raw cacao, and what's the other one? I just got. I really like guarana. As a source of caffeine, I just think it's really good. I just get good results from it. So, like, rather than have a caffeine tablet, I'd have like a coffee with like butter and MCT oil, and then have some adaptogens with raw cocoa and guarana, and like say some ashwagandha, or some nice new ones I got recently. The Muira Puama, that's potency wood. I think I got some tribulus extract, Siberian ginseng, Suma root. Oh, there's some other ones I want to get recently. The Chuchuasi, asparagus root. You know, things like that. Ginkgo, pine bark extract. So you can build up and there's loads more. You know, there's like, put at least 50 different adaptogens around the world that you can get, like, and similar sort of herbs that you can put together in various types of combinations. The good thing about doing it like this is that you get to understand the way these herbs work. So it's taken time. You know, I talked about talking to the herbs. You know, I really believe in communicating with the spirit of the herb, but I also, you know, I communicate with the spirit of Nupept, which is like this nootropic stuff, and modafinil and tianeptine. You know, to an extent. You know, before I have taken them, I kind of know what to expect, and I know, you know, and they work really well. So I don't waste my money. I'm not buying stuff and then not using it because I already know what it's going to do because I've talked to the spirit of the thing. You see. And so it's also, I find that when you're putting a lot of these herbs together, you don't need as much because they potentiate. You get a lot of similar things, herbs that do similar things, like the pine bark extract and ginkgo um, and hawthorn extracts. Um, they're all good for your blood flow, but they all do it in slightly different ways. So when you start taking them together, you can take less and they do more. You know, they work synergistically. So you don't have to use as much of each one to get more of an effect and a longer lasting effect as well. Um, and of course, you're learning about these herbs as well. There's an opportunity there to become like a freelance herbalist, you know, where you're building up um, with this large selection. I mean, it makes sense. Um, and it also makes sense to develop a kind of community network of other people who are also going to be into these sort of things, and you can share the cost. Like, because a lot of these herbs work out a lot cheaper if you buy them in bulk. You know, you buy a kilo of an extract, and it's a lot cheaper than if you're buying 50 grams or 100 grams. A lot of the time, not always, because people are doing this and they're making money, and the prices are continually going down of these things. All the time, I'm looking every few months. I'm looking online for these various herbs. I'm finding new sources where that people are setting up new like businesses and that, and the quality is going up and the price is going down. It's really it's like an amazing opportunity at the moment because you've got access to all these herbs from all around the world at really cheap prices and really high quality and really convenient to use. It just doesn't it makes perfect sense to me. And there's this thing about learning. I mean, it's all experimental because you've got all these different herbs from all around the world now. On the negative side, people haven't put these herbs together very much before in the past, so people don't really know what the different reactions are going to be between them. But on the positive side, you've got, like, if they're coming from different parts of the world, they'll be growing in soil with completely different mineral composition. So the mineral contents of these different herbs are going to be complementary. So I think there's a lot of potential to come up with some really interesting combinations. And you can sort of filter out the best herbs from different places, different continents, and different traditions. The most useful ones, and the ones with the best value for money. And experiment. Yeah, because I had some, pretty powerful results. I've learned a load of really interesting stuff lately. I mean, that's one of the things I was doing in this the Mercy Pillar for the last 4 months, just absorbing information and organising my life in ways that's just going to, make my life easier and, you know, make it easier so that I feel better and I can get more done. I can work more efficiently in that. So that's one of the things that these herbs are about. There's lots of different ways why they're efficient. They make your body work more efficiently. There's not really any cooking involved. I can just knock up a batch of this stuff that's going to last me 2 weeks, and I'll just take a big, dessert spoon or two, put it in a little bowl, and mix in some kind of hot coffee and some butter with it or something, or mix it into a smoothie. There's no cooking, and yet you're getting such an amazing bundle of really useful nutrients that are going to like really look after your body in really powerful ways. You know, stabilize your hormone levels, give you loads of important minerals and vitamins and phytonutrients and antioxidants and stuff. And it kind of works out quite cheap, and you can make it work really. Well, it seems to me like the way forward. You can make these things incredibly beneficial, very time efficient in terms of, you know, once you've got it all together and you've made up a 2-week thing, it's just, you know, it's dead easy to just, you know, just mix it up. You're making your coffee anyway, so just pour a bit of extra coffee into your powders and just eat it like a little paste with your coffee, like a chocolate flavored paste. And then you get all these extra benefits. And then if you get like sort of like 40 or 30 or 40 different herbs, you're probably only going to be taking 10 or 12 maybe, you know, at a time. And so every few days or every week or 2 weeks, you'll change the combination. Or, you know, you might, after a couple of months, you might want to have a couple of weeks break from them, you know, to just sort of like give your body a. I've been going for a break recently, actually, with the herbs. I'm looking forward to a new, especially with this Severity Pillar starting up. I shall probably be starting up like a course of herbs. Yeah, and during the course of these hangouts over the next 4 months, if that goes according to plan, I'll be talking about this the supplements more because I'll be getting some more and talking about some new supplements that I haven't tried as well. Yes, I look forward to actually. It's something I think about quite a lot. I've got some really powerful results. I'm sort of a bit wary. I was reading something somewhere recently about someone saying, you know, be careful of these adaptogens and don't take too many of them because they're the real deal, you know, and they're very powerful. And yeah, so I would, you know, I was saying to people, don't rush into it. You know, just take your time. And yeah, I think it's a great thing to build up a selection of them. To me, it's like the new food. It's the vitamins and supplements of the future. I think of it in terms like what keeps coming up in my mind is you know, that bit in the beginning of Genesis where it says and he created every herb yielding seed to be their food of the first man and woman. Uh, yeah, there's all these different herbs and plants all around the world, and they do some really amazing things. And they work out so cheap, and because they work all synergistically together, that's the other thing I want to talk about. Yeah, you know, you can take a bunch of herbs, and they might make you feel good, and they might improve, you know, increase your lifespan a little bit, you know, and that. But there's an opportunity now, and this is what I'm doing. One of the things I'm doing with this work is there's this opportunity to get access to all these different herbs from all around the world. Yeah, it's like a no-brainer to me. But I know I still feel like I've got to explain it to people because, you know, most people haven't got a brain. If they're anything like me anyway, most of the time it seems like I haven't got a brain. Uh, And you could say, well, why didn't I do this 5 years ago? I could have got most of these things 5 years ago online as well, but it definitely, they are getting cheaper and more easily available. Right. So the thing is, you can get all these different things. Like there's things from South America. Well, there's the cacao. I mean, cacao is just so amazing. Raw cacao. It's just, you got to have it in your diet. It's just too useful. It's got so many good things in there. But in China, they would never have had access to it. You know, up until recently, it wouldn't have been part of their medicine at all. And there are other things. I mean, we can't really use them, but I mean, if I had access to it, I would use coca. Now and again, I'll probably use it as a tea or something, or put it in my kombucha or something like that. And there's the other one there. I was mentioned the guarana. I really like guarana. I don't know what it is about it. I mean, it's not simply the caffeine. It does other things. It's really good, interesting stuff. So I like that as a source of caffeine in the morning, get my day started. On the Suma route, that comes from South America. And that's a really good source of minerals, balancing for the hormones. And you've got maca. I haven't really got into maca, but when I tried raw maca, first of all, I did feel that the balancing hormone stuff, so it definitely can work. But I got some gelatinized maca because I had problems with my stomach digesting the raw maca. But the gelatinized stuff doesn't seem to do much. I don't really use maca now. Ashwagandha I found is pretty good. That seems to work, especially when you first use it. So it's probably, but you can use it regularly, and it is quite strengthening. But I think it's probably good to have a break from it. It combines well with other herbs. Some of these herbs just combine well. They're like very good sources of food. That's how you got to look at it. You got to look at them as food. Let your food be your medicine. Let your medicine be your food. I think of that, and then that bit in Genesis. He created them to we were supposed to be originally created to have every herb yielding seed in the garden. Now, the way I interpret that, you obviously don't want everything. You don't want to eat everything. Some things are poisonous. But there's all this stuff all around the world from all different diverse places. I just mentioned South America. You've got the Himalayas and those high up places in China and that, where you've got ginsengs and goji berries and Heshawu. Then what else have you got? You've got Western medicine, herbal traditions with their mistletoes, and there's some other herbal stuff. It's a shame that so much of it's illegal. Well, not so much of it, but some really interesting stuff like psilocybin mushrooms, fly agaric mushrooms, or amanita muscaria. They've got some interesting properties as well for healing purposes. I'm having a really good ramble on now. There's nothing stopping me, no time limits. I'm going for 8 hours. Well, 45 minutes already. Oh, I'll start thinking about bringing it to a close then. Okay, so how it all evolved for me was I started off with the supplements, that is. Started off with I made some hawthorn jam. I made hawthorn jam because I wanted that to help me with my sleeping and with my heart, for my heart. Which it really does work. So I was able to start getting a bit of proper sleep. I feel a bit more relaxed. My nerves feel a bit more relaxed. That was about that was coming up about 2 years ago now. That wasn't a supplement, but it was like what I wanted to do to sort of get me started. I needed something to sort of like as a base to sort of get me started, and that was very grounding. The hawthorn helped me get started. Then I went and got some magnesium oil. I mean, this stuff. I think in America you can get a different brand, which is a lot cheaper. This is expensive. It's like, well, I mean, this was about £9 or something. But it's often more. If you buy it from the shops, in a lot of places it's like £12.50. So that was really good. The magnesium. Most people are short on magnesium. And that was in November, so that was like about a month or two later. So I got the magnesium, and I started buying seaweed to get. I didn't want to stick too much with just like chemical things and that. I wanted to get, I would like to have an organic approach. So rather than just buy iodine, which I actually have now got. Yes, so I got this like little bottle of iodine, Lugal's iodine. So I just have a couple of drops of that in some water now and again. And it tastes nice. It doesn't taste unpleasant, it's like, it doesn't taste nice, it tastes like iodine. But, my body likes it, so I must be short of iodine, But as far as I'm aware, it's not good to just take loads of iodine. Your body doesn't necessarily, you don't get it any quicker, and it can actually it's better to do it gradually. So I'm getting more iodine than I was getting, but although I'm not really having seaweed much anymore, but I did start having seaweed to get more iodine, and I found that helped with my strength and stamina and hormones and stuff, sleeping. And then into the new year, so January, February, I started getting. I ordered chaga and reishi mushroom extracts, and they were really good as well. I found they really beneficial. Then I got some other things. I got pine pollen. Started getting ashwagandha and rhodiola and some other things. Get more of these different adaptogens. Started trying them out with the raw cocoa. Yeah, it was going really well, but then I started to think, I would go. And one of the other things I got was skate leaf oil, fermented skate leaf oil. It's also really good. But a lot of these things, they're quite expensive. For someone like me who's on benefits and it's difficult to transition, and it's expensive to transition from a lifestyle where you don't use supplements to one where you do, because each individual supplement, it only does one thing. And if you're still having, if you're not getting in, if you basically need to get a whole load of supplements so that you're covering all the ground, all the different nutrients that your body needs and all the little jobs that it needs doing. And in order to get them, you need to get the best quality ones. You've got to buy them in like a reasonable price, for the quantity, you've got to buy them in bulk, which costs more than if you're buying a small amount, but it lasts you a lot longer. And there is an issue, whereas if you're buying a lot of these herbs and you're only using very small amounts, you know, within 2 years, you're probably going to go off if you don't use them all. So that's another reason why to get other people involved if possible. So I ideally turn it into some sort of small business. That would be a good option there. But yeah, there is this aspect of in order to make it really work, you've really got to invest time and money into it to get the best things, and it should really work out well eventually if you put the work into it, because you end up with, you know, these supplements doing what you want them to do, which is to give you more energy, to make your body work more efficiently, so that your brain works more efficiently, and stuff, and for a reasonable price. And you end up, ideally, you want to end up with something that you can manage easily, you know, a supplement regime where you can. I mean, some people would like to take the capsules and stuff. I don't like taking capsules because most of the time they've got loads of bulking agents in, or you've got the gelatin. I mean, even the vegetarian ones, it's still gelatin. You know, it's still stuff that your body isn't getting. It doesn't want. It's not going to use. I'd rather just take the powders and mix them up with something that I'm going to actually use, like some ghee or some MCT oil or something. Okay, right. So yeah, there is an aspect of it where you get a certain amount of benefit, but I think in order for it to really work, it's an ongoing process. It's like it's not like a simple matter of just getting a formula of like a certain number of different foods and herbs that will give you all your minerals and vitamin needs that you know, and then you can just forget about it. I think you've got to keep learning about it. You know, it's if you're like me, you've probably had this thing where you just want some like formula, like a recipe, where you can just so you can stop thinking about it, stop worrying about it, and you can just take this formula, and that will look after all your bodily needs. I mean, Alex Jones talks about this stuff, this Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And I looked into it, and it didn't look like it was giving you everything you need. You know, I'm not convinced. It probably, if you're getting your standard American diet and that's all you've got, then it'd probably be like a useful addition. You know, it make you feel a lot better. But I looked at the ingredients and they weren't that great. So you know, you'd only be much a great deal of use if you've got a really bad diet anyway. We're wrecking the soil. You know, people. I sometimes get depressed because I just think I look out, you know, the world I live in, the world, you know, and people are just. It's like they're on an energy point of view. It's like people are wiping their asses with dollar bills. You know, just throwing money away, and it's just so incredibly wasteful and stupid. Uh, and we spend all this money on food and stuff, and it's not just spending the money on food. It's the fact that all the effort and energy that goes into it. I mean, it doesn't really, you know, we're not the ones paying the price for it. You know, it's our children and grandchildren that are going to be paying the price. You know, we're wasting the soil. People have gone to, you know, great trouble to look after the soil for hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of years all around the world. And over the last last 100 years, we just totally wrecked it with all this industrial petrochemical fertilizers, and not looking after the soil. We just think, oh, we can just dump loads of like oil-based fertilizer into the soil and forget about looking after it, and just over the last 50 years, what's happened is the soil quality has just gone down and down and down and down. All the minerals are getting all lost out the soil because we're not looking after it. Everybody's using like flush toilets now, and so none of our waste is going back into the soil, and instead it's all this like mineral depleted industrial fertilizer, and it's just taking all the minerals out of the soil. And because there's no minerals in the soil, the plants won't grow properly, and so they become weak, and then the bugs eat the plants because the plants can't protect themselves because they haven't got the minerals that they need. So then they use pesticides to kill the bugs so that the plants can grow unmolested. And so the plants become poisonous because of the pesticides, and mineral and vitamin deficient because there's no minerals in the soil. So the plant can't produce the right minerals and vitamins that it's supposed to have. And it needs the pesticides to stop the bugs eating it because it hasn't got any strength in it. And then they then go on to produce specific strains of plants and that adapt to not having any minerals and vitamins, and so then they stay longer on the shelf. Like they have a longer shelf life because there's nothing in them that anything wants to eat. The molds don't want to eat it. The bugs don't want to eat it. Nothing wants to eat it because there's no goodness in there. So there's not much to go off. So they sit on the shelf for much longer because there's no goodness in there. Nothing wants to eat it. And we're just being fooled and deceived. We should be shitting in the soil where we live and creating black soil, you know, and getting all the minerals from all the other places, like going hunting and fishing, and putting all those minerals into the soil where we live as well, so that wherever we live, all the soil becomes richer all the time. Everywhere humans live, soil should be becoming richer and darker and more productive all the time. I mean, it's really fucking straightforward, and everybody's just living in a way which is, and there's this saying, it's I've heard, and I'm pretty sure it's something like this: live like you was going to die tomorrow, but farm like you was going to live forever. You know, we should be looking after the soil like as if we were always going to be it, and making the most of it each moment and each day, and that, like, live for the moment, like, you're going to die tomorrow. But farm, when it comes to farming, you should farm like you're going to live forever. Look after the soil. Otherwise, we're creating a wasteland for our grandchildren to live in. I just, for years now, I've just seen this disaster that we're creating for ourselves in the future, where, when the oil runs out, there's going to be no more fertilizer, and we would have wrecked the soil. And we won't be able to grow any food because we'd have wrecked the soil. There'll be no fertilizer. Nothing will grow in the soil because there's no minerals in there, and we won't have any fertilizer to sort of like boost it up to grow anything anyway. And we're living in a way where we're not recycling our waste like all of nature does automatically, basically, especially on land. All land animals, they all basically crap in the soil. I mean, cats and dogs and most animals, they just bury their crap. Cats and dogs they like to look for sandy stuff, sandy soil to crap in, because so they can just cover it up. Like they scratch after they move, like scratch some soil, sand to cover over the crap. They do it automatically a lot of the time. Bury it, try and bury it a little bit, so that it rots down into the soil and it creates more Wild, you know, foliage and plants and stuff. Ah, okay. So I'm going to call it quits now. Then you've had an hour of me, so that should be enough to keep you going. Okay, so I don't know. I probably will advertise it. Where is it? What day is it today? Thursday. I might do a hangout on Sunday. I'll see how it goes. I'll probably advertise it if I do on Saturday or something like that. Uh, so it'll probably be the same time, probably about 7 o'clock on Sunday, and then on Wednesday it'll probably be much later. It'll be more like 11 or 12 o'clock, maybe even 1 o'clock, something like that, at night, going into Thursday morning. Okay, I think that's it then, really. I'll leave you in peace.